Welcome to the Hollywood Scholar. I'm Jed Morgan, and this is going to be a very different review than I normally do, partially because it's not really in the nerdy sphere that I normally delve into on this channel, and because I'm incredibly biased when it comes to the show. So I won't be delving into the writing, the character acting, though I think they were all solid besides some pacing issues, and Andrew Garfield did an incredible job, but that's not going to be what this review is about. I'm incredibly biased when it comes to Under the Banner of Heaven from FX that recently premiered its final episode because it's my own history. No, exactly, but I grew up in the exact same environment that this show portrays. And it got so much of it incredibly accurate, from extreme Mormonism, how they talk to each other, the mindset that they're in, to the lore and the history, to the temple ceremonies. They got so much of it right. They even got the childhood CTR rings, the green shields that these kids are forced to wear in their hands that say choose the right. And it was a very intense series and sometimes very difficult to watch because of how accurate it was. So if anyone out there has any questions about what it's like to live in a Mormon family, you should definitely check it out. Most of what normal Mormons will be experiencing will be the first half of the series before people get super duper extreme. But even the extreme stuff is stuff that I experienced, besides the murders, of course. It never went that far in my childhood. But there are some similarities that can be drawn between my own childhood and the events of the series. And it's powerful to watch, and it's kind of vindicating to see it get into the mainstream like this. Was big of an actor as Andrew Garfield, who he did an incredible job. He's an incredible actor, and the pain that he went through is palpable. But it's not. I'm too biased about this to have an objective opinion on it, and it was accurate. I can't stress that enough. That is the biggest thing about it, is it was incredibly accurate to what the lifestyle is, because I grew up very, very close to where the murder victim that starts the whole series off, where she grew up. I was less than an hour. I grew up less than an hour from where she grew up. I know people like this. I was raised by people like this. And if you want like a Waco documentary type introduction into Mormonism to understand what it's like, how they manipulate the people inside of it, how they live in the past while ignoring their own history, this show, Under the Banner of Heaven, is a perfect introduction to Mormonism and how they think, how honestly racist they are. It's not dangerous racism usually, it's just they have in religion reasons for all the other races besides white people, and the show gets those explanations correct. It's very, very accurate, and I can't believe that they got so much of it accurate, because a lot of what is depicted is kept behind oaths, and there's even a point that they mention near the end of the series where they're in the temple. You do the symbol with your hand, meaning you'd rather slit your throat ear to ear than to reveal stuff that happens in the temple. And the show knows about that and other stuff like it. So they must have had some very, very personal insiders who had a lot of information, who turned on the church. And that's kind of the history of me and my siblings. Now, I wasn't going to do a review on this. It was just too incredibly personal to put out on YouTube like this. But my brother, he suggested that I do it because I have a very unique perspective on it because of the history that he and I shared. So I decided that I should at least talk about it for a few seconds here and say, if anyone's curious, you should definitely check it out. It is not the normal fare that I review on this channel. So if you're normally here for like Doctor Who stuff, this may not be the show for you. It's incredibly dark, it's incredibly violent, and it's incredibly visceral. If that's not you, totally fine. But if anyone wants to know why I am the way I am, Under the Banner of Heaven is a perfect way to understand that and to get inside my head a little bit. And it was honestly a little bit painful to watch. I'm never going to watch it again, but I'm glad it's out there. I'm glad it exists. And I'm glad Andrew Garfield, such a talented actor, was the one who headed this series, because it's a lot of complicated issues that it undertook and a lot of stuff that is heresy in Utah. Like, you could get in a lot of trouble for just watching this series in Utah. A lot of trouble. And so he just delivered a great performance. Pretty much everyone did great performances that showed what type of lifestyle that Mormons actually live. and it's a lot different than people think. And there's 3 distinct types of Mormons. Jack Mormons are basically normal people who happen to be Mormons. They're fine. I still love Jack Mormons. There's normal Mormons who are kind of the cliche that you're probably thinking about, and then there's the extreme Mormons, and the extreme Mormons are what the Mormons of this series evolved into and what my family was. So I can recommend this to select few people in my audience who are interested in that type of stuff, who want to know more about that history, who are interested in more visceral crime dramas. That's definitely what this is, and it is a true story. So all this actually happened, and if that's difficult for you, I can understand. It was incredibly difficult for me, but I can recommend it. But anyway, that's all I have for today. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Anon. If you like what I do here and want to see good, compelling stories that Hollywood will no longer give you, check out my book series, Odyssey of a Phoenix, a mythological epic about philosophy, morality, and modern-day mental illness issues. Books 1, Down in Flames, and Book 2, Apocalypse Then, currently on sale. Book 3, Kill the Dark, coming soon.